To you and me, it's a handgun, but to others, it's potentially a rich source of evidence waiting to be tapped. When weapons like these are recovered by police, it's handed over to people like forensic technician Tony Preddy to search it for clues.
Could be possible blood on there, especially if it's been fired at close range from somebody. Treated a weapon the other day that had several hairs caught in the hammer. They could be hairs from the person that's used the gun. He may have, for instance, rubbed his head while holding the gun.
Swabs are also taken to retrieve any possible DNA evidence.
Probably the trigger guard, the grips, any catches. And we'll probably do another swab at the front of the weapon as well. This could have possible DNA from a victim. Might have been pistol whipped or have shot at close range.
This kind of evidence recovery is just one of 15 separate forensic disciplines carried out by staff at West Midlands Police new high-tech laboratory in Birmingham. Everything done here is with the sole aim of making life harder for the criminal. Another important example of the work done by the Forensic Service Unit is examining the scene of a crime. This is a mock-up of a house that's been burgled. What will happen now is a forensic science investigator will come in and begin gathering evidence. Nick Ellison has visited hundreds of crime scenes like this. Armed with an array of specialist kit, he soon gets to work.
First thing we do is a visual examination of the scene, and straight away I can see that there's a footwear mark on a piece of paper on the floor there, and I can also see that the bedroom window is broken, which is potentially the point of entry.
To recover the footprint, Nick uses a special sheet coated with gel, which lifts the mark from the paper. But it's not long before he begins to spot other possible sources of evidence.
This bin bag was not here initially, and it's potentially been brought by the offender to the scene, so I'm going to recover this for chemical treatment. Talking to the victim, it turns out that this bottle's been moved by the offender from the dressing table behind me, so I'll be having a look at this bottle for fingerprints. The brush that we use is a squirrel hair brush, and the powder that we use is an aluminium powder, very fine powder that adheres to the fingerprint.
Around 1 million fingerprints are stored at the Forensic Service Library. The ones lifted by Nick will be added to these, but before they can be checked against others on the police database, the unique lines, ridges and features of each print have to be highlighted.
The ridges, they can either stop or they can split into two, and those are the individual characteristics that we look for and actually mark up on the screen.
And that's what makes a fingerprint unique?
That's right, yes.
Elsewhere, the black bin bag recovered earlier is placed in a sealed chamber containing a vial of glue. When that's heated, the fumes given off then attach themselves to the greasy residue left by sweat glands on the finger. Any prints that appear can then be examined more closely under a special ultraviolet light. In another part of the building, the gel footprint taken from the mock crime scene scanned onto a computer. It's then compared to 18,000 other different footwear patterns to see what make of shoe it came from. In one instance, a print lifted from a crime scene helped catch someone responsible for a spate of garage break-ins.
I think he committed 10 without leaving any forensic trace at all. On the 11th one he left a footwear mark. We compared those. He gets identified on the 11th job and then confesses to, I think, a series of 54 in all.
More recent forensic developments include facial mapping, where computers help identify criminals captured on CCTV cameras by scanning their features. But the more traditional forms of identification are getting a makeover too. This is an EFIT. It's been compiled from a photograph of me taken earlier. Normally it will be the result of a description given by an eyewitness. Images like this are then fed onto a computer where they're then compared with the force's prisoner database. Once my age, build and ethnic background are also fed in, my image is then compared with more than 350,000 mugshots of criminals to come up with the most likely match. But just how accurate is an EFIT picture compiled from an eyewitness description?
There is a timescale when that information is lost from our memory. But personally, people do tend to rely on faces to identify people, so people's recall is normally quite good.
In future, the process of crime detection will become even quicker, with technology enabling forensic teams to feed back data direct from the crime scene itself. Just another piece of forward thinking to ensure police stay one step ahead of the criminal. Phil Brewster with West Midlands Police for Central Tonight.